And that does get stored in the body. And that what I did not address that all for 2 decades, right? And so that's what I'm talking about. So a lot of women have rage in their body, even if you're having your great makeup sex and you're talking it out to your spouse, right? And it creates numbness in the body. So when I was learning Tantra, you know, there are different meditations that require us to touch our bodies. And I noticed there were places, and I would cry. There were places where I would scream, and there were places where I was perfectly numb.
Wow.
And that's what rage looks like.
Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Beauty in You podcast. I'm super excited for this episode and I'm super excited for our guest today. She is a burst of energy and relaxation all at the same time. I'm super excited that we even got to connect. So without further ado, Cordelia, welcome to the Beauty in You podcast.
Thank you.
I'm very happy that you're here today. I was really excited for this episode and just to go even deeper into our conversation. I was a guest on your podcast, so I can't wait to do it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. And so we can continue this conversation. Yeah, it was definitely not complete.
I know. It's like we got to cut it off. We got to cut it off. We met our time limit. So before we jump into it, tell the audience a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. I am Cordelia Gaffar, the ultimate joy goddess. I invite women to choose joy and pleasure so that they savor their life. And, you know, my story is a little bit of, wow, life can really come at you, and you have a choice whether to just give up and let it swallow you whole, or to, I don't call it push through. I don't believe in pushing, but be with everything that you're offered, and pull out the gems.
Yeah.
So I've put those gems into 8 books so far, and I'm writing another one.
Oh my gosh, you just keep going.
Yeah.
I love it though.
I've been writing this one the last 3 years as I'm, you know, going through my journey. I was married for 20 years and got divorced 4 years ago. And so when I started my business 10 years ago, obviously I was still married, right? And I was then inviting working moms to create sustainable practices of self-nurturing, right? So they can savor their lives.
Yeah.
And it was more about emotional wellness and nutrition. But post-divorce, I realized there's something deeper that we can nurture that we absolutely ignore. But obviously is very present in marriage, right? That's sex.
Absolutely.
Because, like, I have 6 kids, so, like, definitely we had sex a couple of
getting
times. And, yeah, and so through learning somatic movement and Tantra, I've learned the deeper spiritual ways that you can nurture yourself and use that sexual energy to write books.
Yes.
And to really create more ways to be with your emotions, because I discovered I had so much rage, and I find that many women do, but it's not appropriate.
Yeah, we can't show that, right?
Yeah. But there's such a juicy way to show it. So, yeah, that's the long version of who I am.
I love it. Our journeys are similar in the sense of when we first started our businesses and helping moms, because when I first started the Chi Quita Mack, I was doing the same thing. I was helping mothers rediscover themselves while in motherhood, because I had lost who I was. Everything was focused on the kids, self-care, self-discovery, all that. I'm like, no, I'm fine. Literally cup empty, but I'm moving. I'm moving right along.
Yeah.
And anytime I thought about pouring into myself, I felt guilty for it. And I felt that society kind of made me feel guilty for it. Or when I said, you know, what do you do for a living? I'm like, oh, I also serve in the military. They're like, what do you do with your kids? So then I'm like, well, damn, I
Judgment.
feel guilty for being, I have a job, but I'm guilty, and so I feel all the things. So when I first started, that's what I was doing. As my journey continued and I continued to help more women, I realized most of our conversations is not necessarily spent on talking about rediscovering themselves, like being a mom. It's like healing through the bull.
Yeah.
Seriously, healing through the hurt, the pain, and having to hide who they are. And I'm like, wait, we're really healing women. And it's not just moms, it's all women. So I
Yeah.
kind of focused my attention to let's talk about healing. Let's talk about the framework of healing. And in order to be the best version of yourselves, I believe we do have to heal and really go through that rediscovery. And so it's crazy that we start one place
Yeah.
and we kind of end up in another place. Yeah.
I think that's just a normal evolution, like, right? I'm sure you saw, like, as you grow, right? And you are receiving your clients differently.
Yeah.
And then your energy is different, and then you attract differently, And I would say now I don't have a lot of clients who are married or even have children. They're mostly, just high achieving women, you know, um, who have always been about that achievement. Because while, and I'm just going to talk specifically to Black women,
Yeah.
like while we may not be celebrated for the mothers that we are, the women that we are, we're always celebrated for the success, that we can achieve. But to your point, how dare you achieve success and be a mother?
Oof, don't do that.
Yeah. And we're doing it anyway.
Yes. I'm going to always do it anyway and at the best of my ability. One of the things you mentioned was sex and having, 6 kids, sex, but then you talked about having rage. Talk to me about that because for me and most women, sex is emotional. I ain't feeling you, I ain't doing you.
Yeah,
Like
right.
seriously. So talk to me about how that worked.
Oh, right. So to be clear, it takes sometimes rage to have great sex, right? You ever had makeup sex?
Yeah, though that's pretty good.
Right? It's
Yeah.
excellent because when you have rage, you realize there are values that you have that have been challenged. And, being able to vocalize that and discuss that with your partner, right? And sort out the problems and come to a resolution, then you're more willing and your heart's more open to connecting physically, right? Like if you're not feeling you, right? Like what
Yeah.
you said. So during my marriage, don't get me wrong, yes, there was a lot of emotional abuse. In the end, there was physical abuse. And just like anything in life, right? There are literally ups and downs there, and there were also pockets of honeymoons, right? But ultimately, when I finished being married, right? When I ultimately decided I'm not going to try anymore, right? Like it's over. That's when I realized the accumulated rage that was unprocessed anger, right? And that does get stored in the body. And that what I did not address that all for 2 decades, right? And so that's what I'm talking about. So a lot of women have rage in their body. Even if you're having your great makeup sex and you're talking it out to your spouse, right? And it creates numbness in the body. So when I was learning Tantra, there are different meditations that require us to touch our bodies. And I noticed there were places, and I would cry. There were places where I would scream, and there were places where I was perfectly numb.
Wow.
And that's what rage looks like in the body.
So what is it like? Like, how do you walk your clients through that? Like, what does it look like?
Well, I invite them to explore their bodies.
Okay.
So, like, part of what I do is helping women to create a self-pleasure practice.
Okay.
which is so important because it's good for you to know where you're stimulated, where you have sensation, where you would like to be touched, how you would like to be touched, right? And then learning how to communicate that, being comfortable with what that feels like. And so that's where the somatic work kind of comes in. And a lot of the exercises involve breath as well as movement, but not for the purpose of climax or destination, just enjoying the sensation, you know, and really using the breath to expand the sensation and elongate it and convert it into expression.
Wow. But what about the communication? Because when you start talking to your I guess partner or spouse or whoever, and it can be uncomfortable, how do you walk them through being able to explain, like, I like to be touched here, I like, you know, this is what I like? How do you get past the discomfort part?
Oh, I mean, no, there. I don't look at it as discomfort, right? So, this is the importance of the more you practice with yourself, then it's easier, right, to be with your partner. So one of the things that I teach them is eye gazing, right? Yeah, look into my eyes, right? And then syncing breath. This is a basic tantric practice, and with the eye gazing and syncing breath, there are things that happen, you know, sometimes you'll cry, sometimes you'll laugh, like whatever comes up. And that opens the world of vulnerability, right? Then you can get into the other things, you know, because sex is not meant to be a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, right? It's meant to be a way of life, really. And it is a way of connecting and communicating spiritually always, right? So even if you, and whichever way you choose to be partnered, right? The base is a spiritual connection. And I'm going to add this also, because recently someone asked me, they were like, so do you... Okay, so I'm just going to say this. I do practice non-monogamous, ethical non-monogamy, right? So to a normal person, right, you might say, like, what does that mean? Are you married or are you not married? So I'm not married, right? And I do have partners sometimes. But with like the preface of it must be a spiritual connection. You know what I mean? So it's like a marriage, but without the license. That's what it requires, agreements, right? And consent. And like these are the guidelines and these are our standards, right? Because you want safety, and safety is emotional, physical, psychological, spiritual, right? So you want to really be in the care for your partner as well as yourself.
This podcast episode is brought to you by Femforce, the ultimate solution for entrepreneurs craving consistent professional content without the hassle. Say goodbye to content creation overwhelm and hello to streamlined process that delivers 50 to 60 stunning photos and short video clips in just 1 hour. With shoots held at Instagram-worthy locations across cities like Austin, Atlanta, Dallas, DC, Denver, Houston, Miami, Nashville, Phoenix, and Tampa, Femforce ensures you have fresh visuals to elevate your brand every month. Whether you're launching a new product, updating your website, or keeping your social media vibrant, Femforce Shoots has got you covered. Don't miss this game-changing opportunity to elevate your brand and finally get the content you deserve. I've got an exclusive code just for my listeners to get you started today. So you can stop waiting and start showing up like the boss you are. Click the link below and let Femforce Shoots bring your brand to life. So we talked about that. You said it can be all at once.
Is that something that you're interested in?
I mean, maybe. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I'm just really curious about
So,
it.
yeah, you can have a husband and a wife. How about that?
Whoa! Okay, so we can do everything. We can do long
All
as it's
things are possible.
spiritually connected. Wow.
Yeah.
You've blown my mind away. I'm like, we started talking about this, into this. Okay. All right. Do you do retreats?
I do retreats. Yes.
Walk me through a retreat.
Okay.
I'm just like, wait a minute.
So I do retreats on my own, but I also collaborate with the Love Camp.
Okay.
And, so Renee Miller is a relationship coach, but she does single women retreats in Bali. And so I come in as a somatic movement facilitator. And then we have Love Camp After Dark, where I talk more about the tantric practices and breath work and stuff like that. And we get to explore what that looks and feels like. I like to do my retreats on volcanic islands. So the ones I've done by myself were in Hawaii, the big island of Hawaii, because volcanic energy, like the first thing we'll do when we get there is literally go to the volcano so that we can let go of our fire, right? Release our fire. And the one retreat that I did there, literally we shut down the volcano because there was like sparks and everything. And when we went there and put all of our energy in, it like stopped percolating.
Wow.
Yeah. So I just love to show women how our bodies are the reflection of the elements.
Yeah.
Really. And there's, so I usually have you isolated, like in a jungle or rainforest.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, Lord. I have no signal.
Yeah, no signal. That's right.
Yeah.
You see, you picked up.
Yeah.
So no contact with the outside world. You just get to be with your own soul. And you can really hear it, through the reverberation of the trees, the birds, the geckos, They come and eat breakfast with us. And raw, like usually I feed raw vegan food, right? To keep the body energy pure and the frequency neutral. And it's a lot of moving, dancing, hiking. Then we also go to the beach. So being in water, literally like water, fire, air, like
all
we
the
do
elements.
all the elements.
Yeah.
And I teach you a new way to eat.
What are we doing?
Well, because we're not eating to satiate, right? We're eating for spiritual nutrition. And that's what everything is. Food, movement, breath is all spiritual nutrition.
Okay.
And so for 7 days, that's what you get to experience.
Wow. One thing that you said that scared me a little bit, and it did scare me in the beginning of my journey too, but it's just the isolation part. Because I found fear in being alone, but I grew the most being alone. It's kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like I was so afraid to be by myself, so much that I needed to be by myself to be where I'm at today. Can you talk me through some of that?
Yeah, so how I ended up choosing Hawaii for my own retreat is, it was like February of 21. So I separated in July of 2020.
Okay.
February of 21, I went to Hawaii myself for 10 days. And that's when I realized the power and the potency of being on a volcanic island and doing the same thing I do here, right, when I go hiking. And I needed that time to be with my own soul, and feel that rage I was talking about.
Yeah.
And underneath the rage, when I went to the ocean, I found I had so much sadness. And I really, it was so interesting. There was a full moon. I got to be with all my sadness and just cry. And I learned a new way of journaling, like just very naturally. Like I did not have words. It was as if it was the stuff that was held inside of me for like, I don't know, generations. It wasn't just me, you know? And so for the first time since I had been in art class in high school, like I was drawing like proper sketches
Wow.
and releasing that way. And I got comfortable with being alone with me, you know, and it felt good to just allow myself like, there's nobody telling me not to cry. There's nobody telling me to put your big girl panties on, you know, like I don't do that on my retreats either.
Yeah.
Get your diapers, get your nappies, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Crawl, you know, I sure did. I like, even for myself, my experience was I crawled when I went to Mexico for my own tantric retreat, right? I was on the jungle floor crawling. And that seemed to be like a pattern in my journey. It was like I just had to be one with the earth. And it just like filled my soul. And so I'm not afraid to be in a space without somebody else. And like I said, you know, like I don't feel like I need a partner.
Yeah.
That does not complete me. The only thing that completes me is my connection to my creator, you know? So that's my experience of being isolated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely get it. During my isolation period, like I said, that's when I grew the most. That's when I healed the most. Always healing, but I learned who I was, what I was settling in, kind of like, you know, I don't want that, but I'm doing it because X. No, that's not what I want. And so I needed that moment. I needed to be by myself. I needed to be without the kids. I needed to cry. Oh my God, did I cry? I needed to let it out because I did hear that part of, you're the strong one. Girl, we all been through that. What you talking about? Okay, you will be okay. You're not the only one. There won't ever be, you know, and it's like, I get that may be the situation for other people, but this is what I'm currently going through right now. And so I don't need the outside telling me what I should be doing because this is what they did or this is what's kind of going on. I need the moment to be by myself. And so even though I was afraid to be by myself and to cry and to be that vulnerable, I needed that at the same time to put me in a position now because now I have a voice. Very vocal, able to communicate what I need in my life, what I don't need, when I'm happy, when I'm not happy, when I'm nobody's mama too, because these kids, like, y'all doing too much. I need you to go sit down. Like, I'm able to do all those things because that's what Chi Quita needs. And that happened through my isolation period. So I get it. It's like, I don't want to be by myself, but I need to be by myself. But now I'm like, I need to go by myself. Don't call, no phone, no nothing, because it's necessary for growth. It's definitely necessary for growth.
I'm glad that you brought that up too, because I feel like even now, many people are like, what would I need to go on a retreat for? I could just watch Netflix or, you know, go and get a massage. Not quite the same thing.
Not the same thing at all.
And, you know, you understand the purpose of a massage when you go on a retreat, because after you do all that spiritual work, when you get them, and the energy of the masseuse matters. You cannot go to massage envy. You have to, you know, you have to be with someone who knows how to touch the body, right? And so in Hawaii, they also have a traditional form of massage called lomi lomi. And this is something that has been, it's lineage based. And only recently have they started touching bodies that were not within their family, right? So it's passed down from like generation to generation, and usually just amongst the Hawaiians. But, you know, obviously now other people who are non-Hawaiian or transplants have learned lomi lomi. Yeah, so.
It's important. You just made me think of one of my trips that I took. I went to Spain, and for 10 days, like I left I left the kids, and I actually met Carla. Hi, Carla. I actually met Carla over there, and that was, I think, one of the defining moments in my rediscovery journey. Once I did something for me, I normally would make up an excuse why I can't do it, like, oh, the kids need this, and I needed that trip. I needed it for myself, and I did. Is it Reiki? Reiki. Oh my gosh, I did that for the first time.
Ooh.
I did it not really understanding the power that it was going to have, right? I was like, okay, he's like, who needs this? I was like, me. And I want to go first. And he's like, okay, Kita, we'll take you first. I did it, went back to the room, changed, and I went on a bike ride. I was so excited to go on a bike ride in Spain, and we're on the countryside with the horses, and I got sick. I remember stopping, and I got sick. And they're like, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't know. Oh my God, I can't. They're like, hold on. And they went back and got the person's house we were staying at. They went and got him, and he came and picked me up. And he's like, didn't you just do? And I was like, yeah, I just did the Reiki. He's like, why did you go? I'm like, I thought I was fine. He said, no. And I remember going back to the room, and it was all of that, but I needed to release all of that. Very, very powerful and necessary in my life. So yes, energy matters, spirit matters, the connection matters, all the things. We're very busy in this world, and if you don't take that time to be by yourself and understand spiritually how we're connected and how all those things matter, it's hard. It's hard. Definitely hard.
It is. Yeah, and thank you also for bringing up the thing about Reiki, because like all of these different, even the practice, especially the practices that I teach with Tantra, somatic movement, and breath work, like it's like soul surgery. You can't just get up and, put on, just go for a bike ride apparently, right?
Yeah, I was like, I'm fine. Oh, I'm not.
No.
Okay. I get it now.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what I just did. This is what I just released. This is where the crying and all that's come. Oh my gosh. So much power.
Yeah.
So much power. I want to thank you so much for being on the podcast today. You've been amazing. I'm gonna tell you, this one's a good episode. Definitely a good episode. But can you tell the audience where they can find you and connect with you?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. Yes, you can find me on my website, cordeliagaffar.com. I like to play on Instagram. You'll see me like put on this mask and dance.
She does.
My little joy dances on Instagram, and it's, everywhere on social media. I'm Cordelia Gaffar. My podcast, What People Miss, is also on my YouTube channel, and it's on all audio streaming channels. And where else? Oh, I have articles on LinkedIn and Substack.
Yes. I'll make sure that I link all of your things in the show notes. You've been amazing. I'm super excited. We have so much more work to do. After this conversation will continue. And all right, you guys, until next time.